Transformation Challenge. So everybody here, most everybody here is already registered. We got a ton of registrations this time, which is fantastic. Probably upper close to 40 people registered. Some people are here are boot camp members, studio members. Other people are not, but they're going to join us during the workouts. And then some people are just doing the challenge, which gives them the nutritional and exercise protocol, and it gives them an opportunity to have the accountability and also go towards the prizes at the end. Okay, so thanks for coming out and joining us today. One of the first things we talk about before we start discussing the individual challenges, what I want you to do is I'm going to give you some homework. I want you to do a couple of things before you actually get started. First, what do you want to accomplish? Goals, mindset, motivation, that's actually one of the biggest components of being able to accomplish specific fitness goals, is to have them lined out. Does that make sense? So what I want is more than just, hey, you know, I'd like to lose weight, or I'd like to tone up. Yeah, I'd kind of like to just look and feel a little bit better. Well, those are awesome, but if you don't actually have specifics, you don't know exactly where you're headed. Okay, the more specific you can be with your goal, the easier it is to break down the steps that it's going to take to get there, and then just move forward one step at a time. Okay, so your first assignment is to write down, figure out over the next couple of days, what do you want during over the next 28-day period. Okay, because if you have that goal, it's easier to stay focused. It's going to be a challenge. That's why it's called a 28-day challenge. If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, right? Got it. I can't really hear the heads, but I... Number two, so the first one is to figure out what do you want. The second one is to figure out why do you want it. If you don't know why, you're not going to get it. Because there are going to be plenty of times when if you decide your time to work out is 5:15 in the morning and that alarm goes off at 4:30, if you don't have a strong enough why, you're going to be hitting the snooze button. I guarantee it. I don't care what your intentions are. If your why isn't strong enough, it's going to keep. You're going to stay in bed. After work, you've worked all day with the kids, whatever your day was like that day, and you're scheduled to come in and work out at 5:30, or you're doing it on your own at 6:30 at night. If you don't have a strong enough why, it's going to be easy to think to yourself, "Oh, I had a long day. I think I moved around enough to burn enough calories. I don't need to work out, do I?" Or my job is active in and of itself, so I don't need to, I'll just do it again tomorrow. That's not an option if you really want to accomplish your goals in 28 days, okay? So this isn't meant to be a quick fix, a huge 50, 60 pound weight loss. That doesn't happen, all right? It's not a magic bullet, but there are plenty of people that have dropped 10, 15 pounds, 2, 3 sizes in 28 days if you stick to the program and you have a strong enough why that keeps propelling you forward or driving you forward, okay? So first, again, I'm going to recap. What do you want to accomplish? The second one is, why do you want to accomplish that? If you don't have the why, the what doesn't matter, okay? Number 3, it's going to be hard. Like I already said, that's why it's called a challenge. It's not a 28-day walk in the park. Okay? I mean, it might be more of a challenge in this weather, a 28-day walk in the park. But knowing that it's going to be hard going in is going to allow you a better mindset when those obstacles or challenges start to come up. Anything worth having is worth working for. Okay? So you can get a lot. You can accomplish a lot, like I said, if you're willing to work for it. And knowing that it's going to be hard is easier to push through those moments or those times. Timeline. 28 days from beginning to end. Today is day number 1. We're actually going to, some people are going to have to filter in, but I want to end on the Friday, which is the 28th of February. Okay? That's what the nutrition and exercise protocols are lined out to do. And if there's something that comes up during that period of time, if you need modifications or something or assistance, I'm here to help. My goal is to give you as much of my time and effort during the next 28 days as I possibly can. Okay? I need some sleep every once in a while, and Isaac doesn't always let me have some free time, but outside of that, if you have any questions, ask. I'm here to help. Start with a plan. If you fail to plan, that means you are planning to... Yeah, it's not new, is it? Okay? There's a lot of us that are shaking our heads, we're smiling. This is something you heard, and it's not only something that you heard, but it's also something that deep down you actually know. Am I right? A lot of heads shaking, but... so the idea is, part of the 28-day challenge is to give you that plan. But there are some things that you're going to have to plan on your own. I can't plan every meal. I can't plan everything that you drink. I can't plan your sleep cycle. I can't plan how often you go to the bathroom. That's not up to me, okay? That's up to you. So there are things that you are required to plan on your own. And part of that is getting the food ready for your week or for a couple of days at a time, whatever works best for you. But if you wake up on Monday morning and say, oh, these are the goals that I have, but you haven't planned ahead, you're not going to accomplish the goals for that day. Does that make sense? Okay. So one of the goals for this weekend is to actually plan what it is that you're going to eat next week. Based on the nutritional protocols we'll discuss, the menus or options for meals that you choose, I want you today or tomorrow to get to the store and have at least a couple of days worth of food at your house so that you're not picking up fast food on the way home or grabbing the bag of chips when you walk in the door because you're starving and it's been 6 or 7 hours since you've had something to eat. I do that. When I don't plan ahead, my wife and I don't allow certain things in our house because that's exactly what we will do. Okay? But when it does, or when I do get into that position, I know that it's not my fault. It's not that it's impossible. It's that I wasn't willing to put in the small amount of effort that it took to plan ahead for that obstacle. Does that make sense? All right, so it's your goal over this week and the next couple of days is to plan what you're going to do for this week. Got it? The last one is to write down your goal. I want to achieve fill in the blank because fill in the blank. I already mentioned in the beginning that mindset is one of the greatest hurdles to overcome when you want to be successful at any endeavor, especially when it comes to a physical transformation. So if your mind isn't right, it's probably not going to work out for you. There's a great quote that says, if you think you can't or you think you can, you're right. Whatever one you think is the one that happens. Okay? My goal is to get you ready and motivated and inspired so that you don't say, oh, but I can't do that because of this, or I can't do that because I like this kind of food, or, this doesn't work with my schedule. Everybody has challenges. It's all perspective. Everybody has things on a daily basis that they do or that happens to them that gets them off track. The goal is to stay on track and not let that bounce you back and forth. But if you do get off track, guess what? The next meal, the next workout, the next glass of water because you haven't had any that day is you getting back on track. It's about progress, not perfection. The reason we want to write stuff down is because I don't have to share, discuss stats. It's been proven that you're more successful when you have a plan, when you have it written down. More than just saying to somebody, it's more than just an idea or a thought or a concept or a wish or a hope or a dream. It's actually a goal, and then you want to look at it every day. That's another reason to write it down. One of the, not goals, but one of your assignments is to, after you've written it down, I want to accomplish fill in the blank. Because fill in the blank. Every morning that you get up, the very first thing I want you to do is look at your goal. Okay? Every single day. Number 2, I want you to look at it before you go to bed at night. Studies have proven that kind of behavior allows your subconscious mind to get a hold of that and actually changes your attitude and your thought process. And I've been a trainer for 15 some odd years. Somebody the other day that I was talking to for the first time said, gosh, it sounds like what you do is more like counseling than actually training. I'm like, it is. Because the biggest obstacle to overcome isn't a specific exercise protocol. It's not a specific nutritional direction. It's the thoughts that go on up here on a regular basis that I need to get rid of and to change if I want to become successful. Okay? So that's a huge part of this 28-day challenge, is telling yourself today, I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to work as hard as I can. I'm going to be dedicated and committed during this 28 days so that I can accomplish as much as possible. Okay? That's what I want you to keep telling yourself over and over and over, but especially to get that mindset started before you're done today, or before you leave today. Okay? So, mindset is done. Like I said, it's huge, and that's another one of those things that we're going to be discussing and talking about throughout the entire 28-day challenge. Or every single day, you're going to be getting emails, motivation, and tips to help keep you on track. As part of the challenge, everybody that's enrolled is going to be signed up for, well, give you the emails to sign up for a private Facebook group. This is your support group. This is where every single day you talk to everybody else, to share your frustrations, to maybe share your successes. But community group, when it's also been, recent studies have really proven that if you want to accomplish a fitness goal, not only do you need to have another person to assist you, a teammate, but having a team, a group of people, a community to help push you forward or drive you forward, increases your chances of actually becoming successful at attaining that fitness goal. Okay, so that's one of the cool things. And I've had a lot of friends in other studios that have their other place or their own place that have said this is one of the coolest things that people are really starting to enjoy because it brings people together. Moving forward, like I said, it's not just me against the world or against my obstacles or hurdles. We move together to accomplish that. Okay, so that's on mindset. Two basic things that we're going to be discussing is exercise and nutrition. The exercise component, we're going to be doing a little bit different, more specific training geared towards building your body to burn as much fat as possible. So there's a couple of things that the program manual talks about. One of them is metabolic resistance training, and it goes in detail explaining why it's important. Your steady state cardio that we've been told for years is the king of fat burning isn't. Okay, you can actually do it long enough so that your body actually starts to break down muscle and not burn fat. So you can be on the treadmill an hour a day and actually be getting fatter. Even if you don't gain weight, you're losing muscle and you're increasing your body fat percentage. So it's not as effective as it used to be. Can it be used properly to accomplish your goals? Yes. And that's one of the things that we'll talk about, that the manual will discuss. My goal today is just kind of get some highlights of some of the main points. Then later on today, I'll be sending out emails to everybody who's registered to give you access to the download page for the 60-page manual that I put together. It's about 15 pages of exercise and information, 15 pages of nutritional information, and then there's about 28 recipes that are just fun, different, unique, something you haven't tried before that you can use to plug into the program to help you get your results. Okay, so that's something everybody will have access to later on today. I just want to, like I said, kind of go over some of the highlights and then have time for some questions. I don't want to keep you guys all day, so if you do have to go ahead, that's fine. The video, we're doing a video of it, and my goal is by tomorrow to have it posted online. So if you forgot something that was covered, or if you know somebody that wanted to be here that couldn't, that's part of the challenge, then they'll have access to see exactly what it was that we discussed. Okay? We have, like I said before, a couple of different sets of people. Some of them are going to be here at the studio, our current members. Some of them are going to be doing this at home. I have exercise written in for the exercise program. In addition to that, I'm going to be posting some stuff on the private Facebook group, videos that you can do at home. Or if you're traveling and can't make it to boot camp, or your schedule was busy that day and you couldn't get in to work out, you can still do them at home at the end of the day and check the workout off your list. Okay? We're working on just several different combinations of exercise protocol as well. Some of them are timed events, some of them are repetitions, different supersets and complexes, and The manual, if it's a little overwhelming, I try to break it down so that it was understandable, because sometimes when people tell us to do something, if we don't understand it, it's really hard for us to do it. So, or maybe that's just me. So sometimes we really ought to know or want to know why. That's what I put for the exercise portion. I'm not going to talk a lot about that because I really want today to be more so getting all your questions answered so we can move forward together, and then also do measurements. Okay, as part of the challenge, we're going to do body composition measurements, and that's going to determine the overall winner. It's the greatest percentage of body composition lost based on what they started at. Okay? Nutrition. This is the most important part of the challenge because you can't out-train a bad diet. Agreed? You've heard that before? The thing is that your working out or your exercise portion of your day, 45 minutes to an hour, there's 23 other hours in that day. Most of them, nowadays, you're awake for. Everything we see, everything we hear, everything we smell as we drive by restaurants, it tells us that we need to eat. We need to eat. We need to eat. And usually what's advertised the most is the stuff that's the worst. So that's the most difficult hurdle to overcome. Okay? It's the most challenging. That's the most important part of the plan ahead of time. Because if you have something available that you have already planned ahead of time, it's going to be a lot easier to stick to the plan, right? So what we're going to work on is, we've done a few different kinds of challenges here. 21-day detox challenge, some of you guys have done that here. That's a restrictive, not only calorie, but food for 28 days. And it's tough to stick with. This one is not going to be nearly as restrictive. With this one, we're going to work on ideas, concepts, principles, basic components of a healthy meal for everybody. Not only that, but also the nutrient timing. When you want to eat certain times or certain types of food that it's going to be beneficial or most beneficial for you during the day. Okay? A lot of times people, when we don't plan ahead either, 5-6 hours go by and they haven't eaten anything. Well, then you wonder why you're starving. You wonder why you're tired. You wonder why you don't have the mental capacity to function any longer. And the first thing you do is say, I need some coffee. I need some sugar. I need Diet Coke and some peanut M&Ms. I see a couple of people that follow that protocol. But if you have something ahead of time, that's not going to be a problem. Okay? And the problem with that kind of protocol, the minute you get the caffeine and the sugar that your body craves because you haven't given it energy that it needs, you're going to crash within 20 to 30 minutes. And then what do you think your body's going to tell you to do? Go get me some more caffeine. Go get me some more sugar because those worked last time. So the idea is to have nutrients that are combined every meal, spaced throughout the day, so that that situation doesn't happen. Okay? Another thing that we're going to work on is 3 different kinds of principles or strategies for nutrition, as opposed to just saying, hey, we're going to apply this one for 60 days. Low carb, no sugar for 60 days. I don't want to be around anybody that's on the diet like that because they are miserable. Okay? Then they'll make me miserable. And I don't want to deal with somebody that hasn't had sugar in 60 days because your body actually needs that sugar. All right? Has anybody been around people like that or done it themselves? Yeah. The Atkins, no sugar, no carb. Yeah, after about 3 days, when you're going through withdrawals and you have headaches and you have serious mood swings, I'm surprised that you have any friends. But instead of doing something like that, we're going to play with some different principles throughout the week. And then we're going to just do that for 4 weeks. Okay? Each week it's going to be the same principle. If it was difficult to figure out the first week, second week, do it a little better. Third week, do it a little better. Fourth week, we have it mastered. Then you can actually use the principles that we go through, the nutritional strategies, on an ongoing basis to help keep your body in a fat-burning mode, as opposed to this drastic swings of lose weight and gain weight, and lose weight and gain weight, that most people just can't maintain balance in. Does that make sense? So the first thing we're going to look at is protein and produce. You've heard that. I'm not going to be specifically, restrictive as far as, well, these fruits are good and these vegetables are bad and these proteins are horrible. And it's a proteins and produce. Eat whole food as much as you possibly can. Okay? The lean proteins are going to fill you up. Most of us don't consume enough protein on a daily basis. Minimum, you should be getting probably 15 to 20 grams of protein per meal. There are some people in here that have a hard time getting 20 grams of protein per day. Your body doesn't have what it needs to build the protein to actually start losing that body fat or burning off that body fat. The veggies, when you stick to, like I said, any and all veggies, if you like it, eat it. If you don't, don't. I don't care. It's too restricted to say, well, these are loaded with starch. Well, these vegetables have more proteins. These vegetables have more carbs. Natural is what my body was designed to consume. It functions better on real food. It's the same as most vehicles. If you decide to put a little bit of gasoline and then maybe some honey and then maybe some water, probably not going to do very well for you, are they? A lot of times that honey or water we consume is filler and corn syrup and all sorts of stuff that my body, like I said, wasn't really meant to break down in high quantities. So we're going to try not to consume those. As much as you can, fruits and veggies. The veggies also give you more water, hydration, and fiber, so they fill you up longer. So the idea behind proteins and produce is after you consume a plate of equal proportions, your body is actually full. It tells your brain that you don't really need anymore. When I eat the processed food, your body doesn't register. It knows that it's consuming stuff, but it doesn't say, hey, this is exactly what I need, so you can stop eating. So we have another plate, and then after that we maybe have another plate. And then we'll sit for a little while and maybe we have some dessert because what we ate wasn't really packed with any nutritional content to actually satisfy my body. Does that make sense? So that's basically the idea behind proteins and produce. Second principle we're going to talk about is intermittent fasting. The original protocol for intermittent fasting is a 24-hour period every 5 to 7 days. That's a little bit unrealistic for most people. So what we're going to do instead is on certain days throughout the week, we're going to have an intermittent fasting day. What that means is after your last meal at night, say 5, 6, 7 o'clock, you're not going to eat anything until mid-morning or noon the next day. So this is actually a good program for all those people that don't like eating breakfast or don't have time to eat breakfast or don't want to eat breakfast. What that does is every couple of days a week, it gives your body the opportunity to digest and to process what we've eaten and to start burning on some of that stored food as opposed to always burning what we're eating. Okay? So we'll trick it, grabbing the storage, using that, and then before it starts to slow down and be all crazy and say I'm starving, you start to get back on track. Nothing crazy. Just because you fasted for 18 hours doesn't mean you get to eat 18 hours worth of food the minute you start eating again. But then your body can actually burn consistently the body fat that we have. Okay? So we're going to play with that strategy. And it's one of those things where most people, we've been heard, hey, if you don't eat 6 meals a day, your metabolism is going to slow down because it's going to go starvation mode. We're not going to allow it to last that long. This is also something that a lot of people have been using successfully throughout their weeks to maintain that and to keep getting results. Third principle.